Hello, my fellow DC Comics fans and fans of the DC Cinematic Universe Facebook page and group. Welcome to the second episode of the DC Cinematic Universe podcast. I'm the head admin of the DC Cinematic Universe page and group, Mitchell. And joining me today is my fellow admin, David. How are you, David?
I'm doing good, Mitchell. Thanks for asking.
Also joining us is my fellow admin, Scarlett. How are you, Scarlett?
I'm good, thanks. Hi, everyone.
So, on this podcast, we are going to talk about the recent news concerning the DC Cinematic Universe. So, let's get started. As it broke yesterday, according to Nikki Fink, Warner Brothers is going to announce the following at Comic-Con. On May 16th, Batman vs. Superman, which we already know. On July 2016, Shazam. December 2016, Sandman. May 2017, Justice League. July 2017, Wonder Woman. December 2017, Flash and Green Lantern team up. And May 2018, Man of Steel. So basically, it is the slate of DC Comics movies. Whether it's true or not remains to be seen, but it might be, and that's something. And in case you don't know who Nikki Fink is, she is known as the most feared reporter in Hollywood. That is her nickname. She is an incredibly infamous reporter. She was one of the co-founders of Deadline, which is, one of the biggest entertainment news sites. And last year, she was in a humongous public legal battle. She was let go from Deadline. And now she's back. And she says she's back with a vengeance.
Uh-oh.
So what do you think of this news?
Um, well, I hope it's really true because, like I said, as a big DC Comics fan, I've been waiting my whole life for all these films, and especially I've been waiting a long time for a Wonder Woman movie and a Shazam movie, and I really hope this news is true. I really hope these movies happens. I mean, I'm just really glad that that Warner Brothers has finally decided to give us all these movies based on characters that I grew up with.
Yeah, I agree. Scarlett, what do you think?
I am very excited. When I first heard it, I was like, I didn't believe it at all. It's kind of like, yeah, right, kind of thing. And who is this woman? But then I was reading about her, and this one guy said that she was like very, very, very accurate, like most of the time. And so, I mean, now I'm kind of excited. I'm like, well, what if it is true, kind of thing. So at first, I just didn't believe it. But yeah, he said the studio executive said of Fink, she's very, very, very accurate, extraordinarily so. You have a supposedly private conversation with two other people, and it's on her site within an hour. That was Charles Cohn's former Variety publisher.
Yes.
So,
Oh, sorry, go on.
so yeah, like now I'm just kind of like, whoa, like, you know, it could be true kind of thing. Not saying it is for sure until they say it, but yeah, it's definitely exciting.
I didn't believe it at first either. I honestly didn't, because I thought you look at the slate and you look at how close they are to each other. You look at
Mhm.
Batman versus Superman and Justice League are 1 year after the other, and in the same year as Justice League is Wonder Woman and the Flash and Green Lantern. So I was thinking, how could they do this with the actors? Because right now they're filming Batman versus Superman, right?
Hmm
Are they
And
gonna? Huh?
let's also not forget that supposedly the rumors about that Batman versus Superman and Justice League were filming back to back.
Yeah, and
That's
that's where it starts to make sense a little bit. At least
hmm
to me, it did. Because let's say they film back to back, Batman
yeah.
versus Superman and Justice League film back to back, then that means they'll be done filming by late 2014, early 2015, around then, right?
hmm
So that gives them the rest of 2015 and 2016 to get Wonder Woman and the Flash and Green Lantern movie done.
Mhm.
hmm
And that's more than enough time to film a movie and to go. And that's assuming they have already written the scripts, but that's still more than enough time to film it and do post production and do all of that. So I think they can get it done if this is true, and
Yes.
that's the if this is true part. The one that I have a hard time believing is Sandman. coming out in December 2016. And because everything we've heard about it doesn't sound like it's ready to start yet. And if it's coming out in December 2016, it's going to have to start filming next year or late this year. And it doesn't sound like it's anywhere near ready to do that.
Well, I haven't heard anything about that barely at all. Like I heard a little bit about it in the beginning and now nothing.
Yeah, same here.
I heard.
When last I heard about the Sandman was just that David S. Goyer and Joseph Gordon-Levitt were attached to it, and after that, I haven't heard nothing more about that
Neil
movie.
Neil Gaiman's involved now as well, who wrote the original graphic novel.
Mm-hmm.
He's involved with the script. That's the last piece of news that was there. It was David Goyer was meeting with Neil Gaiman on a weekly basis to discuss Sandman. So he is either involved. I don't think he'll be writing the script, but he's definitely involved in the story.
Okay. I mean, if Gaiman's involved, I mean, it's a good sign because he was involved. He was the guy who created Sandman, and having somebody who was involved in Sandman it's a good sign that they want this movie to be a success.
Yeah, well, the great thing about him, though, and the great thing that he can do is he not only writes great comic books,
Mm-hmm.
but he's also a good screenwriter. He's written movies and he's written pilots for TV, well, not just pilots, but episodes for TV shows. So he's really good at that, you know. And then another problem I have with this is, where's Batman? That's my one problem.
Oh,
I know he's gonna be in Batman versus Superman and Justice League, but I want to see Ben Affleck as Batman in a solo movie.
but you know what's interesting is before they had said that there's 9 other movies in production besides Batman versus Superman and Justice League.
Yeah.
Well, this only comes up to 8. Like if you Shazam, Sadman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern, Man of Steel 2, that makes 5. And then they said Metal Man, 100 Bullets, and Fables. That only brings it up to 8.
Yeah.
So there's still one that's not accounted for. So maybe it is Batman or
I think it will be Batman, and it has to be, because Batman is Warner. I mean, look, Superman used to be the most popular character back in the day, but when you look at it now, Batman is their most popular character.
Mm-hmm.
And
He is.
they're going to want to bank on that. They're going to want to make money off of Batman, and they're going to do it sooner rather than later. So it just makes sense to have a Batman movie. And I want to see one with Ben Affleck. I really do.
Yeah, so do I. I mean, at least with the Batman family done right this time.
Well, yeah, I guess. Yeah, it hasn't been done that well in the past.
Yeah, well, that is true. Well, we haven't seen a proper Batman family live action yet, so.
Well, we tried with Batman and Robin, but that didn't work out so well.
no.
All right, so let's move on to the next story here, and that is that Drew Crevello, who helped relaunch Fox's X-Men franchise with X-Men First Class, has been named Senior VP of Production at Warner Brothers. Crevello will oversee films through every stage of development and production, and that's not just DC films. He's going to oversee all of the films at Warner Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what do you think of this?
I think it's a good. I like that they brought him in. I mean, he gave us. I mean, he was there to help relaunch the X-Men films with X-Men First Class, which is by far one of the best X-Men films that I've ever seen. And this is a sign, because what if Warner Brothers might give Drew Crevello some insights. You know, he might want to start a DC Studios like Disney did with Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios. So in a way, I think Drew Crevello might be Warner Brothers and DC's Kevin Feige.
I don't see a Warner Brothers doing a DC Studios. See, and I think the whole reason is because Time Warner owns DC Comics,
Mm-hmm.
right? They own them. They also own Warner Brothers.
Yes.
They have a movie studio, right? Why would they spend more money to start another movie studio just for DC when DC can use Warner Brothers and they don't even have to pay extra money to start up another studio and all of that? And that's the main difference between Marvel and DC movies is Marvel Studios is owned by Disney, but they were bought by Disney when they were before. They
Mm-hmm.
bought them after Iron Man, I think.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
no,
it was in
or was
2009
it?
they bought 'em.
Yeah, so around after Iron Man, around the Incredible Hulk release was when they were bought. They were already a studio. They were already working, churning out movies. So Disney let them keep doing it and made money off of it. Why now Warner? That's completely different than the Time Warner situation.
Mm-hmm.
Time Warner bought DC, I think in the 70s. I think I want to say 70s, but I don't. Maybe it was earlier or later. I'm not sure. But they bought them before there was even a humongous churn out of DC Comics movies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I see that, but with this slate though, if this is true, DC doesn't need their own studio because it looks
Yeah.
like Warner Brothers is going to be churning out 3 a year.
If they're planning on 3 a year, then they're obviously taking it seriously. So I don't think they would need to make their own studio. Like they're already planning on making all these movies.
But I will say with the Drew Crevello coming over to Warner Brothers, I think it's great. I really do because the thing that I've read about him and that I really like is that he is a guy who believes in character development. Don't
Mm-hmm.
just slap a character out there in a movie. Make sure people understand his motivations, you know? And that's what First Class really showed.
Mm-hmm.
Every
Yeah,
character had motivation. Magneto, the most out of all of them.
mm-hmm.
And that was something that I really liked. And I think that's going to be really beneficial to the DC movies and just Warner Brothers movies in general.
Yeah, if anything, it shows that they're taking this very seriously.
Yeah, it does. And another thing is that the thing I like about them bringing Drew Crevello is that it goes to show that they want to bring in other people. That Warner Brothers wants to bring in other people, to help launch this DC cinematic franchise. I mean, because if you think about it, they can't rely Warner Brothers and DC. They can't rely too much on Zack Snyder and David S. Goyer to helm this franchise. They need other creative people who have
And
creative thoughts to make this universe more coherent.
and they've already before Crevello they brought in two people already. They brought in Chris Terrio
Mm-hmm.
to rewrite the script for Batman versus Superman. And they
Yes.
also brought in Ben Affleck, who is I guarantee you, he is a lot more than just Batman in this universe. He is a creative force behind it.
I think he
Well,
is.
didn't they originally want him to direct Man of Steel?
Yeah,
But
they
he
did.
turned it
He
down.
did.
They
Yeah,
did. He was up. They wanted him to direct Man of Steel back in 2011.
yeah,
No, 2010 is when they hired
Yeah,
Snyder. So
2010.
they wanted him in 2010 and he turned it down.
yeah.
Then they wanted him in 2012 to direct a Justice League movie. They had a script going with I don't remember the guy's name, but he wrote Gangster Squad.
Okay.
And there was a script going around by him, and rumor had it was connecting the Dark Knight movies, Man of Steel, everything in one movie. Now, I didn't like that. I don't think the Dark Knight coexists with Man of Steel very well,
Yeah,
and
it doesn't.
it didn't happen. But Ben Affleck, they wanted him to direct it, but he turned it down. There wasn't an official reason why he turned it down, but I hear the script was crap, so that was probably the reason.
I haven't heard anything about that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that was back in 2012. Yeah,
I
that was
heard
a while
about that.
ago.
I did hear about it. Something about Ben Affleck that they wanted him to direct the Justice League movie, but I never knew what was the reasons why he turned it down, why it didn't happen.
I heard the
But now
script
I
was
know.
well. If I don't know if that's true or not, but Gangster Squad wasn't. I mean, I didn't hate it as much as everyone else, but it wasn't a gem of a movie. So that's probably one of the reasons. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's definitely one of the things that was happening with Ben Affleck. Now he's Batman, and I guarantee you he'll direct a Batman movie.
Yeah.
Oh
Or
yeah.
maybe he'll at least have some creative some influence on the DC films. So he'll maybe executive produce some too.
I think he'll be more than a executive producer. I think he'll be a producer, full-on producer. Because Warner Brothers loves Ben Affleck, and with good reason too. He won them an Oscar last year with Argo.
Mm-hmm.
He's the golden boy right now at Warner Brothers. And
Yeah,
if
they chose
you know,
and they picked well. They chose well.
I think so. Yeah, he's a over the past few years he's become a great actor, and he's a
Mhm.
great director too.
He is. And I also wanted to add that I was hoping that he would direct the Justice League movie for the DCCU, but maybe it'll happen someday. Maybe.
Well,
I mean, they can't like.
I think a Batman film, if he directed a Batman film, I think that would fit really well with him.
I think it
I
fits better with his style.
I do too.
It does.
But I think the thing with Zach, I think the reason he's not directing it is because they're probably doing it back to back. And
Hmm.
if they're doing it back to back, it makes sense to have Zack Snyder do it all.
Hmm.
Which a lot of people, some people, not a lot of people, but some people are angry about. But I don't know. I think he'll do a fantastic job. I think
I mean, Zach
Watchmen is the perfect example that he can handle this.
and Zach has never let me down. So
He's
he
let me
since
down only once though. I hated Sucker Punch.
I didn't like it there very much. Well, I didn't hate it, but I didn't really like Sucker Punch so much. That was the only one of his I didn't really enjoy.
I just didn't like it. I didn't understand it. It had no narrative.
Yeah.
That's my one problem with it. In a movie, in my opinion, the most important thing is a story. That
well,
was just a bunch of fight scenes. It was nice, it was cool, but it would have been cooler as a video game.
Sucker Punch was the only film of his that he wrote, right? Like all the other ones
yeah, he
he
did.
right.
He wrote it with his
No,
wife Deborah.
he co-wrote um 300 Rise of an Empire.
Yeah.
So, but he didn't direct that.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Someone else
Oh yeah,
did.
that's right. Yeah.
But he has written before. But I do think Sucker Punch, he doesn't need to write on his own. He's like Goyer, he needs someone else to help him, which isn't a
Well,
bad thing.
No.
you
I
can
mean, you
forgive
can
him
have
for
great
Sucker Punch.
ideas. It's like George Lucas for over at Star Wars. He's great at coming up with an idea. He sucks at dialogue, and he sucks at directing, as proven with the Star Wars prequels. So, so there's that. But we've gotten off track.
Yeah.
So let's move on to what we have next here. And that is, we have our first look at LexCorp in Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. And it's a picture of this building, right? Great
Hmm.
building. I don't know, it looks like a car dealership, but
And I actually read somewhere that it was a car dealership. Like it was a closed car dealership, a GM one.
well, that
I
makes
don't know if
sense.
that's true or not, but I read that. I don't know how accurate that is, but
It looks just like it, so that makes sense.
yeah.
And it's got
Kind of does if you think about it.
the new LexCorp logo that we see. And what do you guys think of this logo?
It's very new and trendy looking. You know, like it looks very much like I don't know, like the Google Nexus, logo or something. Like it kind of looks like that. I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah, that makes sense though too, because the rumor is going around that LexCorp is going to be a Google-like company in a way. It's going to be
Yeah,
more younger generation, which
and
makes
that's what it feels like.
sense. Which makes sense because Eisenberg is a younger guy.
Hmm. But I also find that rumor. I also want to add, like, I mean, that while I do like the LexCorp logo, I mean, I kind of find it hard to believe what they said about it being like a Google because, as we recall, in Man of Steel, like you saw that LexCorp had like it looked like it was a multi company, like it owns like mostly a lot of things, like
Google does too, David.
Yeah,
Oh, it
look,
does.
this one,
Yeah.
Yeah, Google owns everything. Almost.
Oh,
Well, yeah, there's two companies out there that are really young companies that own the majority of other companies, and that's Google and Facebook.
oh yeah.
So it makes
And
sense. But here's the thing that I don't. Here's the thing that a lot of people are saying, which gets me a little nervous.
which is
If
what?
if what is this building? That's the main thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a laboratory? Is it a car dealership? What is it? But then they
I kind
say
of have
then they
I
say
have a feeling it's a laboratory. It could be because I do recall that in some other media that LexCorp did own some laboratories, and I think I don't know if I don't know, I'm not 100% sure, but I think LexCorp did once have a partnership with Star Labs.
and we saw Star Labs in the last movie.
Hmm.
A brief second we saw the building.
So maybe what this building could be is like it could be like a LexCorp laboratory where they're probably studying, who knows what. They could probably be studying General Zod's corpse, or they could probably be studying like some of the some leftover weapons or artifacts that from when Zod attacked Earth in Man of Steel.
You know what they could be doing? I just thought of this. They could
But
be in that laboratory. They could be doing two things. They could be constructing Metallo,
yeah, that's what I was gonna say that too.
and they could be building a gigantic mech suit for Lex Luthor.
Hmm.
That would be
That's
pretty
what I have.
cool.
That's what I have a feeling that they might be doing too.
I actually saw someone online compare the look of it to Cadmus Labs in Young Justice. If you look at that building, they actually kind of look similar, just the way the
Yeah,
building. Obviously, Cadmus was below ground, but I mean, this could be too. Like,
I don't even remember the look of Cadmus in Young Justice.
I'll post a picture
It's
of
been so
it
long.
today. Yeah, and it does kind of actually look like it from the outside. So that's kind of interesting. Not that it obviously isn't Cadmus. It doesn't say Cadmus in the front, but it could be, there could be Cadmus below or something. Who
I think
knows?
I think we will definitely see something of Cadmus
Yeah,
in this new universe.
I think
definitely.
so.
And
It,
someone else also said like they could always CGI a tower, in it too. Like maybe
yeah,
that's a
but
better look. But it's out in the country looking, so I don't
I
really
don't
buy.
know why they would do that though, because Detroit
Yeah,
has plenty of bigger
exactly.
buildings
That's true.
and that's where they are. So,
Yeah,
I just think this is most likely a laboratory.
I think so too. Yeah.
That's what that was my first thought. So that was my literally my first thought when I saw that building. I mean, it has to be a LexCorp laboratory, or maybe at least a LexCorp sponsored one.
It definitely has that look. I just can't get over that it looks like a car dealership. But, I just hope they
Movie magic.
yeah, hopefully, yeah. And another problem I have one problem with the logo, and that's the X. And
Yeah.
that's my one problem. I don't understand why it's not an L. Because X to me is
Yeah,
associated with X-Men.
yeah,
Wait,
it
I'm going to
does.
be thinking that somehow Professor Xavier is funding LexCorp, and he's like the big mystery guy up there, and he's helping Lex Luthor.
It
I
reminds
don't.
me of Nexus X, the Google Nexus. That's what it looks like to me.
It just reminds me of X-Men way too much. But that's just my opinion.
It got. I mean, that's what I literally thought when I first saw that LexCorp X logo. It kind of does remind me of the X-Men logos. It does.
But it's kind of thinner. It looks, I don't know, it looks like something like a technological kind of like something on a phone or. That's what I don't know, that's what the logo looks like to me. But one thing that kind of does bother me is if you look at Man of Steel, and I don't know, maybe I'm just being picky, but if you look at Man of Steel, the LexCorp building that you could see in the trailer, its logo was way different.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but
Yeah, but
So,
that's just. I mean, they can explain that easily by saying the logo got updated or
yeah, that's
something.
very true. And people do that all the time. And the logo
I
on the
mean,
trucks was different too.
yeah,
So,
yeah. I mean, each you look at Man of Steel, the LexCorp logo on the building is, like you said, completely different than the logo on the truck.
yeah, it's very different. So, maybe they have a different
Maybe
logo for different.
they could have like five different logos.
That's very true. Different parts of the company and different logos, yeah.
The science department of LexCorp could have that logo,
Yeah, I could have the X
and
with the,
yeah, there could
yeah.
be different logos for different departments,
it could
which
be.
would make
That could be
sense.
another possibility. I mean, let's all not forget that LexCorp owns a lot of other businesses. Like they work in the science department, they work in the shipping, research and development of weapons,
Yeah,
and they also practically built half of Lex Luthor was actually influential in building almost half of Metropolis, which he owns. He owns
yeah.
almost half that city.
And he's going to be influential in rebuilding it too.
Hmm.
After the destruction, it's going to most likely be him and Bruce Wayne that rebuild Metropolis.
That's a good possibility.
I was wondering if we'll see, because we know we'll see Lex Luthor and Bruce Wayne in this new
Mhm.
movie. I'm wondering if we'll see other um, businessmen from the DC Comics world, maybe just in one scene, like a meeting between all of them or something, like Ted Kord and Oliver Queen, or some other
Simon
people.
Stagg of Stagg Industries.
Yeah,
Wasn't there
Maxwell Lord maybe.
Hmm.
wasn't there a Cord uh Easter egg in Man of Steel?
Though I don't know, I didn't see it if there
Might
was.
have.
A what?
I thought there was a Cord Industries Easter egg in Man of Steel. Maybe not.
I
I
don't know.
can't.
I know they did it in Arrow. They put one in there,
Oh,
but
maybe that's
Yeah.
what I'm
but we don't
thinking of.
know if Arrow is even connected to the
Yeah.
DCCU, which it probably most likely isn't.
And I
Just
don't and I
I
don't even
don't think it
recall
will
seeing.
be.
I don't even recall seeing an. I don't. I've seen Man of Steel numerous times, and I don't even recall seeing its Cord Industries in that movie.
I think
I remember seeing it in Arrow, and
I
I think
think
it
I'm
was
getting
like 2 episodes before the season 2 finale.
Yeah.
I remember seeing the logo for Industries in one scene, which I thought was pretty cool because I'd like to see him be in the world of Arrow.
Hmm. And the world and the world of the DC cinematic universe too.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, though, if I had to pick a Blue Beetle, because Ted Kord's Blue Beetle, if I had to pick a Blue Beetle to be in the DC cinematic universe, I would pick Jamie Reeves, just because I
Yeah.
think he's the better of the two characters.
Yeah, he is. And he is and his makes more sense. Like he has a blue scarab that gives him powers.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Whereas Ted's just a guy in a costume, which obviously we know a guy in a costume can do a great deal in a DC universe with Batman and Green Arrow and all those characters. I mean, they can do a great deal. But the Scarab's cooler. At least I think it
I like
is.
the Scarab too. Yeah.
hmm
And I
I
thought
like.
the way they handled him in Young Justice was
Was absolutely.
really good. That's the way I'd like to see him handled. What do you
Mhm.
guys think?
Same here.
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
the Scarab better.
I love the
That's
scarab better. That's a better origin.
Yep, I agree. All right, so let's move on to the next story here. And that is that a giant Superman statue and green screen are on the set for Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. Did you guys see these photos?
of
Yeah, I've
course.
seen them.
Yeah.
What do you think of them?
Well, they're probably constructing a statue for. Well, the possibilities they're probably constructing a statue for Superman because he saved the world, or maybe it's like a new, maybe it's a new statue that Superman might have in the Fortress of Solitude.
I don't, yeah,
Who
but
knows?
that's something I heard too with the Fortress thing.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't think, why would he build a statue of himself? Is he that vain, Superman, that he's got to look at himself? That's the, I don't know. I think it is a big statue in Metropolis for him saving the world.
Hmm.
Because he
That could be
did.
it.
He stopped Zod from invading Earth. He saved the world.
And by stopping the world engine from terraforming the Earth and killing billions of lives.
Yeah, he saved the world. Yep. He didn't kill, he did kill, but he had no choice.
Yeah.
It's
It
it's
was either
interesting.
kill Zod or let millions of people die.
It's interesting that like we saw the model and no one knew if it was for real or not. Remember we saw it was just
Yeah.
in gray, it was small. It's interesting that it is like it is the same one that we saw previously that we didn't know if it was legit or not. So
And that original picture came from batmannews.com. The original one that was just it was just like the S logo and it was
just the
the
body, like the
body. Yeah,
torso.
you
Yeah.
didn't yeah, that was all it was. And we're going to have to like batmannews.com has been doing they must have someone in the production in Detroit that's sending them stuff because they get it all. They got the
And,
first picture of
and
LexCorp.
Batman News is is a pretty reliable website too.
They've become that, yeah, because they got the first picture of LexCorp. They have the
Hmm.
Superman statue. They were the first people to get all of this. So they have someone there
They
sending them
must
stuff.
have.
So
That's all I could think about.
that's gonna be a site to check, like daily probably, because they're gonna be breaking a lot.
Yeah, they are, and they So that's all I can think about that statue.
Yeah,
But
only thing I can think of is it's some like, made as a, because of the first movie, Man of Steel, right? Like it's just that's the only thing I can think of. It's built in Metropolis for him saving the world in Man of Steel. I
mhm.
don't can't think of really anything else it would be for. Unless, like someone said, maybe it was a dream sequence. Like maybe this is what he's. But I don't know.
I mean,
I'm
it
not
could be
sure.
a could be for a dream sequence, like in Man of Steel when they had that sequence between him and Zod, and he saw all the Earth die and the skulls all around.
Well, yeah.
It could be like that, but I don't know if they would do that type of thing twice.
Yeah. And would they actually build the statue, or for a dream sequence would they do just something more CGI kind of? I don't know.
See, that's something that the fact that they've built the statue means they're using it a lot.
Yeah, because otherwise
Because
they
if
just
they
CGI statue in there.
exactly if it was only going to be in one scene, it's not worth building it. You can save so much more money by just CGIing it in there, and it's not going to look fake with CGI. CGIing a statue, it's going to look real.
Yeah,
It
especially
is
for something that's not moving. Like,
exactly. It's not like CGIing a person. It's going to look completely real CGI. So the fact that they're using it means it's in a lot of the movie. At least that's what it means to me.
interesting.
I
Mhm.
also heard of something going around though that this statue might not even be for Batman versus Superman.
Might be for Justice League.
That's what their people are saying. They're saying it's going to be like, and this doesn't make sense to me either. But they're saying they put it in front of a green screen and they're using it as exterior shots for the Hall of Justice. Meaning, there's the Superman statue after they green screen it in. It's going to be outside the Hall of Justice. But why would they build it for that too? I mean, you can easily put it in using CGI, and it will be a lot cheaper
Mhm.
Yeah.
than building it.
But why would
But
they have that? Why would they even need a stat? Here's the thing: why would they even need a statue of Superman for the Hall of Justice right
I
now?
I don't know. You're right. It doesn't. A lot of things from that theory don't make sense.
Hmm. So the only best possible explanation I can come up for that statue is that probably that they made it for. They made that the people in Metropolis probably funded it because he saved the world.
Yeah, I think so too, and I guarantee you, Lex Luthor is not happy about that.
He is
That
not.
that
He
he's
won't.
got it because he doesn't have a statue.
That could be
Oh,
a possibility.
all right. So let's move on. And last episode we took questions, but this episode we're gonna do something. I mean, this is still a question, but it's a message that was sent to the page, and I want to address it. And it's from Emilio Soto. I hope I'm saying your name right. If I'm not, I'm sorry. I'm bad with names. But and this is a long message, but I'm gonna read it all.
All
And the
right.
message says, "Hello, I just wanted to drop a line and say that I really enjoyed the podcast the other day, and I look forward to more of them as production ramps up on BVS DOG and the greater DCCU. I have a speculation and would like to hear your thoughts on it in a future podcast. In regards to an expanded metahuman presence in post Man of Steel DCCU. Not to say that the origins of Wonder Woman and Aquaman are bad, but they might not fit so well in the more grounded universe Warner Brothers and Zack Snyder are building. A possible explanation could be this. We all remember the lingering glance Clark gave the empty cryotube in the abandoned Kryptonian ship in Man of Steel. I believe the tie-in I believe in the tie-in comic it established that at least one Kryptonian walked away from that ship, and it did, and that was Kara Zor-El, and all those 1,000 years ago. One of whom being Clark's distant cousin Kara. What I propose is that Kara mingles with prehistoric man and sires children. Those hybrid Crypto-Terran offspring would have a similar power set on a smaller scale than a true Kryptonian. They could evolve into Amazons or even Atlanteans. Furthermore, these genetic wildcards could have informed the idea of the ancient pantheons of Greek, Roman, Egyptian, and even Norse gods. It would be impressive today to see a man fly and move mountains. Imagine if you had barely figured out how to make fire. what these people would look like to us. Giving over 20,000 years of evolution, the possibilities of differing power sets are numerous, to say the least. And who is to know how long lived a Kryptonian would be on Earth? Maybe the longer the exposure to the yellow sun, the longer they live, the stronger they get. Kara may still be walking around out there. What do you think? And that's the end of the message.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a long message, but it's very interesting. And I've heard this theory before. It was going around like last year about how Wonder Woman might be a descendant of Krypton from Kara. And we all know that Kara came to Earth, like the message said, that prequel comic. And that empty cryotube, that was hers. That was the same cryotube from the comic book that she got out of. She was the only survivor of that ship, and they crash landed on Earth and everything, and she was on Earth, and that was thousands and thousands of years ago. It is entirely possible that this is all true, that this is what they're doing. I don't know if they would do this, and it makes sense too when you look at it, because let's say she does breed with a man, they get together, they have kids. Those kids would have powers, because her genetics would mix with his genetics. They would have powers. Because he's human and has no powers, it wouldn't be as powerful as a Kryptonian, or as a purebred Kryptonian, for lack of a better word. But they would still be incredibly powerful. And let's say that she only gives birth to females, and all the Kryptonian heirs are females. Could be the Amazons. What do you think?
That does sound like a good theory, but as I recall, I don't know if it could be true, because I do recall that they debunked those rumors about Wonder Woman the Amazons being descendants of Kryptonians.
No, Warner Brothers. I remember this, and
This
is the thing. Exactly, this is the thing that many people misconstrued. Warner Brothers has said nothing about this. They did not debunk anything. They didn't even make a statement.
They didn't say it's true or false. Like they weren't the ones who made the rumor, and they weren't the ones who debunked it.
The reason it was debunked is because the person that put it out there was just speculating.
Yeah.
The guy, and it became this humongous news story. Everyone was talking about it, and he came out and he said, "This isn't news. I just said something I thought might happen."
Yeah. Yeah, so he just said, "I think that this could happen," kind of thing. And then the internet went wild with it, and then he's like, "Well, I didn't get this from anywhere. I just thought it up, right? Like this is what I would think would happen based on the movie and based on the prequel comic." So that's why it was debunked, but it could still be possible, or it could be completely out to lunch, either way.
Yeah, it's the same thing that happened with Kevin Smith recently too, though, when he said that he thinks there's going to be 5 movies that are all Justice League movies.
Yeah.
He just said he thought. He didn't say that was absolutely happening.
And
people ran with it.
I listened to his podcast after, and he was kind of like, "You guys, like, I don't know any of this stuff. Like, this is just what I think. I don't talk to these people.
You're just speculating.
I'm just speculating. Like, watch what you say. Like, I'm not really saying this. Like, you guys make it out like I know something, and I don't." So
he knew one thing. He knew what the Batsuit looked like before everybody.
Yes, he did know that.
Because Zack Snyder showed him that. But I doubt Zack Snyder or anyone from Warner Brothers is telling Kevin Smith all of their plans for the DC Cinematic Universe.
No, and the reason why he knew what the bat suit looked like was because he was at that whatchamacallit, where they had that
the Q&A thing, and Zack Snyder pulled out his phone and showed Kevin Smith.
Just to be nice, yeah. He's kind of like, "Hey, look at this."
Not to mention that he's also friends with Ben Affleck, so of course he's going to have to know.
He hasn't talked to Ben Affleck, at least according to Kim, he hasn't talked to Ben Affleck in 5 years.
Yeah, like he hasn't talked in years. Like they're still friends, kind of, but they got out of touch, right? So
no, and I remember hearing about this years ago. Jennifer Gardner hates Kevin Smith.
Wow.
And that's the reason they don't talk.
Oh.
Wow, that's a first.
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that. I didn't know absolutely no.
That's what I heard. She hates Kevin Smith, and that's why Ben Affleck doesn't talk to him.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
But I definitely see happening if in the future them doing an episode of Fat Man on Batman together.
Yeah.
But that's going to be a lot closer to the release date of the movie, or after the movie even comes out.
Yeah.
Because Ben Affleck can't talk about the movie. At least
No.
can't. He
In
can
fact,
talk about the
none of them
movie.
can.
He can talk about the movie, but he can't give anything away, really.
Like major stuff that is going to give away like the plot of the movie or like what's going to happen in the future, what's going to be the lead-ins into to like future DC movies.
Yeah, he
Because
can't say any of that.
hmm
Which I wouldn't want him to say any of that. I want to be surprised.
yeah,
Yeah.
we all do. That's why. That's the reason why I have. That's why the reason I'm always saying that a lot of these rumors are probably false that are coming out. That all these rumors regarding towards this movie are probably false because there's no way that Warner Brothers or even Zack Snyder are going to want to spill the beans about everything so soon.
There's 2 rumors for this movie that came out recently that I believe,
hmm
and that is the Commissioner Gordon and Catwoman rumors, which we didn't address in the news segment because the 4 biggest stories is what we addressed. And in my opinion, the 4 biggest stories. But I believe the Catwoman and Commissioner Gordon rumors.
Yeah, they could be. Those are
I
probably.
think they're because I guarantee you we see Gotham, we see the
Yes.
city. It would make sense that we see a few characters from Gotham City in the movie. I think just in one scene probably is what we'll see them in,
Or at least
and
like
they'll be
an Easter egg of them.
yeah, and they'll be set up, and then we'll see them again later down the line.
hmm
You
Did
know,
they have any rumors of who Commissioner Gordon was at all, or just say that he was going to
just
be
that
in?
he's going to be in it. There's no
Yeah,
rumors about an actor.
that
Emily
was
Blunt, I could see her as Catwoman. I don't see why she couldn't be. Like, she's a good actress and she has the look and she's about the right age and all that. So,
She would be amazing. I mean, I know not many people saw it, but I saw it. Edge of Tomorrow.
no, I haven't seen it yet.
It's great. It looked awful from the trailers. It looked like it was going to be one of the worst movies of the year. I went and see it. I went to see it just based off all the good reviews it got. I was blown away by Emily Blunt in that movie. She was incredible. And her character, she can play a great female lead. Like but
yeah,
not just a love interest. Edge of Tomorrow, she can play a warrior type of
That's
character and a
an action
fighter.
war.
the only thing I've seen her in is Gulliver's Travels, and then the one where she's the assistant. One where the old Catwoman was in it. I can't remember. Devil Wears Prada. Those are the only 2 movies I've ever seen her in, I think. And
I've seen Devil Wears Prada. I've never seen Gulliver's Travels, but
and
you know,
yeah, like she wasn't a huge. Gulliver's Travels was more of a role. She was kind of like the lead female sort of in it, but still, like it's not. They're nothing big for her, right? So I've never really seen her in anything big, but she was the one. She was wanted to play Black Widow.
yeah,
They wanted her,
Yeah,
but she ended up not being able to do it. Like people think she didn't want to do it, but she wanted to, but she couldn't because of Gulliver's Travel. She'd already signed on for that, and there was a conflict with filming. So
she was also one of this was rumored. I don't know if it was true, but it would make sense. When The Dark Knight Rises was going through the casting process,
yeah,
she was up for Catwoman. At least according to the rumors.
I think or was it that, or was she up for Talia? I thought she was up for Talia.
I thought it was Catwoman.
Well, maybe well,
I
she
don't
was up
know.
for
I don't know.
something.
I don't. That I didn't hear about. I wasn't so sure about.
But it would make sense though, because when you look at the Man of Steel movie,
hmm
both Henry Cavill and Amy Adams were up for those roles in other movies,
Yeah,
hmm
and they went back to them and they hired them. It's entirely possible they did the same with Catwoman.
yeah, it is.
At least that's what I think. I think it would be really cool to see her as Catwoman.
I think
I'm,
she's
I'm,
great. Yeah.
I hope she like. I hope they pick her. I mean, I hope she plays Catwoman at least in one scene at least.
I would
I
have
mean,
never. Sorry, go ahead, David.
no, you.
I would have never thought of her,
Oh,
you
me
know,
neither.
but
Yeah.
now that people say it, I'm like,
I finished what I said.
yeah,
My number one choice for Catwoman, and it's been this way since the start of this. Since Ben Affleck was cast, I thought of this person for Wonder Woman, and I still think she would be the best for it. And that's Mila Kunis.
Oh,
I know a lot of people disagree with me on that, but I think she has the acting ability, she has the look of the character, and she hasn't had a chance to shine in this, but I think this new Jupiter Ascending movie might prove that she can fight in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But Jupiter Ascending isn't doing so well as a movie, so they're no longer. I don't know if anyone heard about this, but they've been delayed 7 months for their
Yeah, I
release
heard
date on
about
that
that.
movie.
Yeah,
So
so I heard.
that's never a good sign when they get delayed that long for a release date, especially when the movie's already finished.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I could. I mean, I kind of actually agree with you, Mitchell. I can actually see Mila Kunis as Catwoman. She has the look. I mean, she has just she's a one perfect pick. I could see it. No complaints there.
But you know what? We have gone way off track from this Kryptonian thing. We've literally gone from talking about Krypton to
We
Batman.
have,
So
yeah, we have.
so I want to get back to the Krypton stuff real quick about the cryotube and everything. Does anyone have anything else to say about that?
Uh,
Not really.
yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm torn on this issue very much. Like I don't mind when they change stuff. Like like if it's good, I don't care if they change stuff. But the kind of bothers me about this is then where does that leave characters like Zatanna or or Shazam? Like we know Shazam movie's coming.
Well, we've rumored.
Yeah, well,
We don't,
rumored.
yeah. Yeah, well,
But
if
WB did say it was in development.
huh? Wait,
So
they said it. Well, they said it was in development years ago,
yeah.
and then once Man of Steel hit, it kind of went out of development for a while. But now it's back in development. Shazam. Now, if the Shazam movie does happen, I don't think this will be Wonder Woman's origin.
No,
Hmm.
see
I
that's the thing.
think they
Like
will go with the magical.
if they're
Hopefully the New 52. I never liked the Clay origin,
Me neither.
so
I've always
hopefully
been.
it's the Zeus demigod origin that she would have. But so
So
yeah,
I mean, if they're going with magic for, like if they're gonna have a movie like Shazam, or they're gonna have Justice League Dark, which, is they're supposed to be working on it, although we never know what's
well,
going on with that.
here's the thing with Justice League Dark, and Guillermo del Toro is infamous and for this is he starts a project and then he doesn't finish it,
Ugh.
right?
Oh, God.
Because he moves on to other things. Like right now, we see it happening with Beauty and the Beast. He was going to do a Beauty and the Beast movie. He's no longer doing a Beauty and the Beast movie because now he's doing Pacific Rim 2.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
But then he's not going
Not,
to do. But then I guarantee you, in a couple months, I'm not doing Pacific Rim 2.
it's
I'm doing
unfortunate
this
that he
now.
does that, yeah.
You know, but and I think I mean, and there could be more to it than just him leaving projects. It could be completely there could be this big background to that I have no idea what it is. But Justice League Dark it's been in development for years now, and it's
Mm.
not really moving forward.
Yeah.
That's
But if
that's not a good sign with anything. If it's been like that's what happened with the Booster Gold TV show that was in the works.
Yeah.
That you hear about this?
no.
Anybody? Okay, well, a couple years ago there was a Booster Gold TV show in the works, and Sci-Fi was developing it.
Oh yeah, I heard about this. I
Yeah.
think.
Well, it never moved past like the early stages of development. And that's what Justice League Dark is in for the past couple years. The early stages of development. Hasn't moved past it. That's what's known as development hell.
Mm-hmm.
It will never go forward. Well,
Mm.
most likely will never move forward. Which is unfortunate. But we have that Constantine TV show, which
Mm-hmm.
will probably introduce some of those characters into that world. So we at least have that to look forward to.
Yes.
But back to the Kryptonian thing and the cryotube. This
Mm-hmm.
is where I think it's interesting with the cryotube. They focused so much on that
They did.
during promoting this movie, promoting Man of Steel. They were asked about that cryotube so many times, And they really, really talked about this throughout the entire thing. And that leads me to believe that the fact that they were talking about it means they have humongous plans for this little part of the story. Humongous plans.
They lingered on it for a lot in the
Yeah.
movie, unless it was just to make this ominous kind of feel. But then they have the prequel comic that explains it all. So I don't know, like it's a lot for them not to follow up on, right? Just to leave it like it doesn't. They usually don't do stuff like that. Like just have something in
Yeah.
that doesn't follow up.
I
But
think we'll see more of the story of Kara and what she did on Earth, and
yeah.
if she formed the Amazons or was the basis for Atlanteans or something. I think we'll definitely see a lot more of that.
Also, I also want to add something. I think one of our fellow admins, Josh White, he actually added this a few weeks ago. Something about that he brought up a theory that what if Zod, as we know, Jack Sore in Man of Steel was able to take some of Superman's blood that had the codex in it. He said that what if Zod had used the blood to actually mix it with the Genesis chamber that was in the scout ship, and from there it could have created, like, maybe Power Girl or Superboy.
That's definitely possible.
I mean,
That's possible.
and
But we know unless they're creating a completely different character that's Power Girl.
hmm
Power Girl is normally Kara, who
yeah,
lived thousands of years ago, as said in the prequel comic.
hmm
So they would have to create an entirely different character to be Power Girl, and I'm fine with that. I don't. Just give me a good movie. You can change some stuff around. I don't mind. You know,
but
but
at the same time, like, I kind of don't want them to do that because I mean, I'm the kind of those kind of people that like some to stick to the source material, and knowing Zack Snyder, he's known to actually stick when he does comic book film to stick to the source material or at least take elements. So that's why I have a feeling. That's why my the Kryptonian thing is, like, I think is it could be I think it could be a false rumor to me. I
it
mean,
could be.
just
It could be, but it wasn't really even a rumor to begin
No,
with. It was more pure
a
just
speculation.
yeah.
fan speculation, yeah.
I mean, they could have just had the tube, the Kyra tube, and had the prequel come with Kara. Maybe just because they want to have her in it later. Like maybe they want to
Mhm.
have her story somehow, in this,
Oh,
even though it's 20,000 years ago.
I think we'll see her in another Superman solo movie.
Yeah.
I think that's when we'll see Kara.
But like with the Wonder Woman thing, what bothers me, I think, a bit is that if they go down that kind of route with no magic, then it
We're not
affects
saying no. It doesn't say no
no,
magic. It's saying no
no,
magic for Wonder Woman.
no magic for Wonder Woman.
There could still be magic. We don't know.
But why take out the magic for her if you're going to have magic for Shazam
Yeah,
or
well, there's something.
Yeah,
That's something that if there's Shazam, which the rumor suggests, I think this isn't true. This cryotube origin for Wonder Woman. I don't think that's true.
I don't think so either.
It's
I,
possible it
I
is though. Let's say Shazam doesn't happen,
Mm-hmm.
then this is definitely possible.
I kind of like the new 52 though, with like her entire family, like she has this extended family that's
Mm-hmm.
always fighting and they all have, like they're all gods. I don't know. I just think it's interesting.
I like it too, and I like it
I
because
like it. That's her.
I
That's her
really
best
like it
origin.
because Hades and her don't are like arch enemies,
Yeah.
and
Like
they're
it's like
brother and sister in the new 52.
I know, and I like that. Like I like that they're like this family that can't get along, and it's like I don't know. It's cool. Like I do
And
enjoy it. So
it actually makes more sense than the Clay origin. Like, I've never been a big fan of Wonder Woman's origin like that.
Never made
Her
sense to me.
origin is better. Like, her being a demigoddess makes more sense.
I don't mind the
Yeah,
Clay origin, but I don't think the general public would like it.
the
Like
Clay
I don't.
origin, it never made any sense to me at all. I just
Never
didn't
did.
understand it. I mean, but I have that problem with lots of things in comic books that don't make
Mhm.
sense to me. But
Yeah.
I just
We
get
all
over it because I like the characters.
I remember when I first found out that that was Wonder Woman's origin, like a long time ago. I was like, "What? She was made from clay?" Like I was kind of like, but then I kind of accepted it. I was like, "Whatever." But I think that the general public would be. I don't think that they would like that origin.
Nobody.
I
I
don't
don't think
think
anybody.
anyone likes that origin really. I think everyone prefers the demigod origin.
Well, it's just funner because she's got this, crazy family that can't get along, and they're always fighting, and it's
Yeah.
just, it is better. I like it more.
Me too. Hang on,
And
give
that's
me.
what I hope they do. But I mean, if they do the Kryptonian thing, it's not like I'm not going to go see the movie, you know? So
Mhm.
it's not like a make it or break it thing.
Yeah.
So, but that, hang on, we'll end the podcast there because we've been going for about an hour now, and that's, you know, it's a long
Wow.
time.
And
And I guess
we did.
we've covered a lot. We've covered the Nikki Fink, Warner Brothers Comic Con, big thing, the Drew Crevello, the first look at LexCorp, the big giant Superman statue on the set, and now this message that was sent to the page, and then we went off on tangents about Catwoman and Batman and all of that, which is fine. But you know, but yeah, so we'll end the episode here, and in the description box below, there will be links to the DC Cinematic Universe page and group. Please click on the links, like the page, and join the group. There are also links to the news stories that we have talked about. And if you're a fan of the podcast, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. That is the best way to support this podcast. Till next time, the episode next month. That's it. Goodbye.